You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Back once again here at Shoptoberfest, brought to you by
Shopware.
Brent Peterson right there with the fresh. Scott Oshman here, always off brand. Brent from Talk Commerce, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sitting at the table down next to us, the legend, the myth, the one we all read and listen to, Rick Watson.
The world famous.
Unbelievable.
Perhaps. I'm here in. Let's talk about the outfit point of view.
Yes.
One of us is in a executive suit. One of us is in flowers, and one of us is in lederhosen procured on Tmoo.
I think we
From
covered.
China. Yes,
I
this
think
is
we
awesome.
covered it all.
We haven't covered yet.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is Tmoo from China? I'm just finding that out now, Brent.
China-ish. Yeah, I think they re-headquartered like a lot of these companies to avoid the regulations. Biden is after them, and they keep moving to new countries.
So, wait, Rick, you're recording podcasts right down from us. People are banging on the table. It's been funny. Are you talking about the journey to your lederhosen all day? Is this a big topic?
We actually haven't.
Podcast?
You're getting an exclusive right
Holy
now, Scott.
shit! Let me get the sound effect. This is unbelievable breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy cow!
Anyway, my soundboard is.
It's dying.
It's malfunctioning.
So tell us the
It's
journey you
malfunctioning.
have.
Yeah,
There we go.
the journey of the Tmoo lederhosen is really just like this event. Like, I don't know what to wear, and so I never purchased on Tmoo before, so I'm always like wondering like, what is the first purchase? Because it's not a site you can just sort of like randomly shop because everything is a game. I feel like they make you go down these rabbit holes and spin dials and like.
Yeah. That's what they do.
It took me like 10 minutes to find this
Did you
product.
get it less than 90% off? Because I'm gonna be shocked.
I think I spent like $6 or something.
Yeah, so tell us about the shipping cost on the $6.
It's
Yeah.
$5.
All right.
$2.
And a hand
You
mixer
spent
for
that
$2.
much? You spent $2?
Wow.
But it was 120 volts, and I got it. And it still works.
It works. Your
That's-
hand mixer.
Electric one.
Okay.
2 years or 3 years, right?
Right.
Or are you going to buy a KitchenAid that may last you 20 years?
Right. But it's more expensive, and you may not use it so much.
So
So if you spend $2, you don't feel so bad about it.
So did you have? Was it challenging to get to what you wanted?
It was. It was because, again, as you navigate the site, like it like presents you with a new challenge. Go to the site and find these 3 things and click on these 4 items. And they're just doing that so that it's almost like TikTok feed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they create gamification and engagement so that they can build up your targeting profile and then sell you new schlock in the future.
Yes, if you're in the mood for that, I'm here for that. If you're not, if you just want an item and you know exactly
You didn't
what
get
you
your
want.
coat there?
No, I bought this coat in 1989.
Do you think that's a Chinese thing that they're driving that, or is that a new marketing thing that they're doing?
I don't think it's totally unique. Even if you go back to like, here's a name you haven't heard in a while, Groupon.
Hey now. Yes.
Like there have been lots of these like buying models that make it a game where you can like recruit your friends, get a cheaper price. And so this is like, now it's like clicking on the website. You remember Farmville?
I
Like
do
you do
remember
all
that.
these things.
Yeah.
They like invented gamification, and so I think these guys are bringing gamification to
I love
e-commerce.
gamification, but this is a playbook they've done for years. The people that have generated this is Alibaba
Yeah.
Express, all the Chinese unbelievable e-commerce, live shopping. This is their game. This is how they do it.
Right.
This is how they roll.
If you have billions in advertising, you can make it work.
If you don't have to be, if you're not held to a bottom line, there ain't no top line. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm really interested in this gamification piece, though, because
Are
a lot
you?
of them actually. 'Cause
How interested
consumers
are you? Let's gauge your interest.
Consumers, I'm 100%
Sweet
interested.
Caroline.
Consumers are interested in buying something, right? And then are they going to buy it if they get
Right.
distracted too many times? Like,
Yeah.
would you buy if you didn't know, if you weren't committed to buy a lederhosen? And I've just said committed to buying lederhosen.
I'm always committed to buying lederhosen.
Would you, if sufficient friction was put in, would you still buy the lederhosen?
Hey,
or is
Eder-
it lederhosen?
Eder,
It's lederhosen.
Eder
I'm sorry.
Brett, that's the clip right there. Not that you needed me to tell you that. That's the clip.
100%.
That's the Rick Watson clip. Can you imagine? This guy's so goddamn smart. Rick Watson, how are you that smart? I read your shit and I'm just like mind blown. But back to Tmoo.
Yes. Look, they're growing like a weed.
They are growing like a bigger weed.
Yeah. Every year, they're growing like a bigger weed.
Because we like cheap shit.
Truth.
And that's what led you, right? You had many choices to buy your...
Lederhosen. Look, I wanted to make a first purchase on Tmoo to try it out.
Yeah.
And I never, Amazon just is so damn addictive.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to buy on Amazon
know.
if you're there every day and there's like an Amazon box showing up every day.
But you had to plan for this, because this shit
And I
doesn't
had
come
to
up.
plan,
Yeah.
this event was coming up, and then it shows up and there's like 5 different things in the box, and they're all vaguely connected. And so I'm like staring at the picture of the guy in the Lederhosen.
Did you have to YouTube it?
I didn't have to YouTube it, but I looked at the picture more than once, and they have a front view and a back view. And so I'm
God.
looking at this rear end of this guy, and like, how is this suspenders connecting to it? How does he keep up the
All right,
Lederhosen?
I want to back into this, though.
Oh, hey now.
Let's do this.
Damn.
How much planning did you have to do? Because you talked about it. You can probably buy this on Amazon and get it in 2
wasn't
days,
it like 10
right?
days?
I'm sure.
2
You have
weeks?
to wait 10 days to get it?
I got it in 8 days. Ben Marks, ladies and gentlemen.
Ben
Marks.
taking a selfie for us. Shopware.
He
extraordinary.
told me
Hey,
before.
we got an open mic. Sit
Ben,
on down. Come
Ben
on
does
down.
not report to Jason.
Come on
Jason,
now.
I heard Jason can't fire Ben. That's what I heard later
Jason
today.
is the president of Shopware,
let's-
GM of Shopware US.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Ben's just on the mic now, ladies and gentlemen. Ben joining the program.
Ben has no
Ben Marks?
accountability.
Ben Marks joining the program. Podcaster extraordinaire.
No, there is a funny
He was
joke though.
he was pissed earlier when the noise. There's too much noise.
Yeah.
so
Banging on the table.
Vance, our head of sales, he actually had a great joke not long after he met me. He was telling his buddy was like, "Oh, I'm here with your friend Ben Marks." This was at like I think Shop Talk. He was like, "Oh, Marks is there." He's like, "Okay, great. If you want to get rid of him, just show him a KPI."
Boom.
And that kind of perfectly describes my job.
Ben Marks not accountable to revenue.
Where's my blow up thing?
Man.
Yeah, you wandered into the wrong room,
So-
my friend.
So we're talking Tmoo. We're talking about his experience on buying the Lederhosen.
The Timo Hosen.
The Timohosen. And so wait, how long did you have to wait for that?
I had to wait 8 days.
That's not bad.
That
It's
is
not
bad
bad.
at all.
It's not
And
bad.
It reminds me
To
of
my
the
doorstep
times
in
of the
8 days.
1990s when you...
Hey, they're actually doing well.
Hey
you
now,
report
they're
on
doing
this.
better. They're doing better.
Come on, Rick Watson, the Watson Weekly. I'm sorry.
So my first experience was Shop Talk with fast fashion. It was Shein, right? Because
Shein.
I had never heard about the whiteout party.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just an odd
Yeah, yeah,
concept
yeah.
in general. But I'm like, well, it wouldn't be great if I show up in a white,
Was
suit.
it like Nelly or Ludacris, one of those
I
years?
think this was Flowrider.
Okay.
The Flowrider year, so a few years back.
Look at
but,
it.
But I couldn't believe it. Like I asked my wife, and she's like, well, you could try Shein. And I'm like, wait, doesn't this come from China? She's like, yeah, probably. And I'm like, but it's gonna get here in 3 days.
probably.
Like this is amazing.
How's that
how does this-
possible?
Well, de minimis. Now we
I
know.
was gonna say it was below $800.
Not for long.
Not for long.
Not
That's de
for
minimis.
long.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Back to the Watson Weekly. What's the big story right now you're working on? I mean, if I have you here, I gotta know. I gotta
Yeah.
break down the big shit because you come out with the. It's funny. It's smart. Tell us what the big story is. What's the big story going into the end of holiday and all that shit?
Look, the big story coming into holiday is how screwed all of the consumers feel like. They're like cutting back on expenses because they have these big holiday purchases coming up. And so they're like, how can I squeeze down my budget as much as possible so not to piss off my relatives to buy them Christmas gifts from Tmoo?
It's all about the relatives, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
all about the family pressure.
Exactly. So there's like a lot of pressure on holiday spending this year.
But I just read retail was up.
If you
Month
talk
over
to the
month.
NRF, everything is great. Everything
No,
is
but we're-
great. There are
it's
birds
tracking it.
flying.
No, core retail's up about 3.2%. That's almost back to pre-pandemic levels. E-commerce is now 22% of total retail, which blows my mind
Yep.
because I'm
Yeah.
old and been here when it was like 10%, and I couldn't
Right.
believe it. So now there are winners and losers, right?
Right.
There are winners and
Right.
losers. But how big are the winners going to win, Rick Watson?
I think, look, the big winners right now are who? Who's taking share? Amazon's still taking share. They're not losing share. Tmoo and Shein are taking share. Walmart's taking share. Most other people are losing share. That's just a fact, especially retail department stores. There are
Aggregation
niches that are
situation.
win.
Yeah, it's an aggregation situation.
He's dropping.
I know.
He's
Ben Marks
dropping-
dropping
Ben,
knowledge.
he's dropping taglines. I
Do you
like
have a
this
podcast,
guy.
Ben Marks?
Master of Pith. Yeah, you can find me at Commerce Famous. Well, look, well, we've all been in this industry for a minute or two. It has been interesting watching things ebb and flow. There's no doubt that we have these big players collecting all the customers and all of the all of the volume. Rick Watson, do you see a future for a significant future for things off of these major platforms? Or do you think just eventually it is all just the black hole and we are just waiting until the final merchants hit the event horizon?
It's never going to be 100%. I think marketplaces definitely thrive more in emerging markets. And so we look across the world, marketplaces are 65% of most major developed markets. If you go into emerging markets, it gets up to 80, 90%. And so the marketplaces have won.
Yeah.
And they keep winning. Not that
just-
there's not a place for other players.
No, you made me think of South America.
India. Emerging for e-commerce or emerged?
Yeah, I think it's emerged at this point.
You do?
Yeah, Flipkart,
Yeah, right, that whole thing.
all these players, yeah.
Marco Libre, what's the name of it down south?
Mercado Libre.
Mercado Libre. I knew I had it in my brain wrong, so I was going to say it.
Yeah.
Marco
Good
Libre.
Good thing I have editing duties. My point is, they have captured. Amazon doesn't even go down to South America because they're like, that vacancy is full. Like they're out.
It's difficult to penetrate new markets.
But we had some other people here that I think I am an optimist for other retail, probably because I've spent so much time in retail. If you're a good retailer and you know your business and you know your customer, I think there's a place for you.
Good retail is still needed.
People want a real world experience. I mean, that you cannot get away from it. I come up from I live on an island, in the Carolinas. I come up to New York. I can literally, this amazes me. I can order stuff online. It could be there one day, or I can literally hop on the L that I went to B&H instead of Autorama.
I was just gonna say, don't tell Hani.
Yeah.
But also that operation was incredible. Like I walk in and there are conveyors
it's an amazing
overhead bringing. But yeah, so it was amazing watching this stuff happen overhead. And the guy, he's like, okay, what do you need? Grabs the thing. He's like, no, okay, cool. Boom, order. Here's your ticket. Walk over there, get it. Okay, this is the promise. Let me tell you, in Charleston, South Carolina, this is not how buy online works out. It does not work out this way at all.
Charleston, South Carolina.
There's the accent coming out.
Charleston.
So, I think one of the things you're saying is that the big markets kind of have that. The big markets have all that choice where you can walk in and get it. Do you think the small markets are ever going to get anything like that? And is there a possibility that somebody like Charleston would get something like that?
Well, clearly it's going to be the drones, right?
The drones are coming to your house.
Would you wait for an Amazon fulfillment center where if you're in Fargo, North Dakota, you can get it the same day?
Wow, Brent, where are you moving to shortly?
Yeah, he's broadcasting his intentions.
Okay. All right, Grandpa.
You're going up there to Fargo.
In all seriousness, there is that idea where you can walk in and get something, but if you're in a small town, you can't. You have to go to the big city, right? But if there's a distribution center that can deliver it in a day or that day, you've sort of equalized the whole equation for every consumer.
Right, and that happened a lot to the pandemic. A lot of people moved out to the quote-unquote sticks, and they relied on Amazon still.
What's going on we're here at Shopware, Shoptoberfest.
Yes.
Brought to you by
Shopware.
We should definitely never put you in charge.
Ben, you're supposed to be the brand police.
I am. Well, there's not really much policing. Dad Jokeville land, and I've known this guy for too long.
But what I'm asking Rick here, earmuffs, Ben. What is happening? I think there's some interesting shit happening as far as the platforms, as far as shopping carts that we used to call them.
Yeah.
There's some things. Obviously, Shopware. If you go to Germany,
online
they're the
checkout.
shit. That is it. It's over. Dominance.
Well,
and they're growing here.
Well, but if we sat on our laurels, no dominance. Right?
I agree.
Now, so we all look. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't even begun to see what the carpet bombing of the market that Shopify can do. I don't think we've begun to see competition in Germany too soon. I didn't even make any blitzkrieg jokes. So our strength is we're small enough that we can innovate and move quickly. We have the ecosystem that if we facilitate, we can move quickly. But that's it.
Ecosystem powered by Ben Marks.
Is there a way I could monetize that?
But Ben, in all honesty, the timing's everything, right? Cliche. But your timing and where you're hitting the market, especially the B2B, from my perspective, is perfect. It's perfect.
I would say it would have been perfecter 3 years ago. Timing is relative, right? Timing is relative.
Right.
Well, what's the big joke from what was
The best time to plant a tree is right now, Ben. Come on.
As you know,
20
it was 20 years ago. Yeah, if you want to shade. What's the joke? What's the joke from The Big Short? You know, where he's like, you know, it's like maybe I was just too early. You know, I'm not wrong. I'm just early. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're not early, unfortunately.
No, but I think it's ripe for you guys to come in on certain competitors that have honestly just dropped the ball.
From where I sit, you know, I help get Magento B2B built, right? I worked with the agencies to get that thing built. There's an amazing backstory there, but when you have a division that is effectively a rounding error for its parent company, unfortunately, they're not giving it the attention. Yes, we have.
We're talking about Adobe.
I
Commerce.
said nothing. You know, yes, we have a moment. We have a moment in time to do this. We get to build on what we've built before. That is our moat, but that moat even requires being replenished. And I'm looking forward to us taking the steps now, planting the tree, as it were, under which all the B2B seeds may flourish.
I understand that, but moving over to Rick Watson, and I got the celebrity Rick Watson sighting here. Thanks God I get to meet him in person.
The CBR.
No, you report on this. You watch this. You are on these earnings calls. You're reporting on this. You're all, again, across. You don't care. You're not reporting on this guy, that guy. You follow all this. What is the state of the union from your perspective?
Well, the state of the union from an objective point of view in direct-to-consumer e-commerce, Shopify has most of the oxygen. And that's just a fact.
Yeah.
I think B2B we still see, unless if it's B2B for a direct-to-consumer site, most people just call that wholesale. Shopify has a lot of inroads there, but like for traditional, like B2B is most companies that no one has ever heard of in their lives and
100%.
won't ever hear of. And so industrial, scientific, chemical, all these dusty industries that are still working on green screen, that's what people call the $1 trillion B2B commerce opportunity. And I think not only is Shopify not there, but nobody is there. Yeah. And so it's a lot of greenfield, and I think the people who saw this earliest, I mean, look, there are a lot of players, but from a SaaS point of view, probably BigCommerce saw this a little bit earlier than others in North America. They're rebooting their strategy with Travis coming in and some of our agency brethren and Tom Armstrong. But it's still a wide open game. And so from a timing point of view, you still do platform RFPs in the B2B world, where in direct-to-consumer, it's not happening that much anymore, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, because the game, they figured out how, they've fixed full sales path, like in that business. Interestingly enough, I would say, so one of the things that we know is there are AS4 still running. They have never stopped running. They will outlast even roaches.
So anybody under 40 has
Commerce and EDI.
I think this podcast is powered by AS400.
This is an AS400 inside.
Right. That's what this is. I was confused by what this was.
I was going to say anybody 40 below, but it could be 50 and below.
You know what? You know what was funny though? When I was actually back to the B&H checkout story, the guy, I'm watching him punching the things
in the green screen.
So no, well, of course it's a nice little challenge. But guess what? No, it literally did. At one point it popped up. Their actual like in-house fulfillment system, and he sits there. He's like, I have no idea
customized.
What this is, but it was effectively an
was it Windows 3.0 on?
It was an iframed in AS400 interface. I shit you not. I guarantee.
Holy crap!
We got to do it. We got to do selfie, and we got our next guest.
Okay,
awesome.
all right. Did he have the green sheets, the green paper with the like? You remember
dot
that?
matrix printer.
God, I remember going in to call on department stores at the time in Seattle, Macy's now, whatever, and they'd come with these binders. I'm not kidding you, listener. It was, I don't know how big this is. It was like 3 feet wide. It was really, he'd just sit there and the GM would just go over these dot matrix, print green things and just, your item number this was off by 26%. I'm going to need markdown dollars. Okay?
Wow, this is a specific experience.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to edit all of that out. Thanks for coming to the show.
We loved it. It's been a lot of fun being here.
Rick Watson, son of a
Thanks a lot,
biscuit.
Scott.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brent.
Hey, thanks for sitting in. Plug the podcast.
That's commerce. Your
No,
podcast.
no.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at this. Commerce Famous.
Commerce
podcast.
Famous, thanks for having me on. Okay, for Brent Peterson, for everybody here at Shoptoberfest, brought to you by...
Shopware.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, welcome to Shoptoberfest, E-commerce delight. Rick Watts is here to steer us right, from suits to boots and lederhosen too. Shopware's got the deals just for you, and Shoptoberfest, where savings reign. Commerce needs fun, so join the chain.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.